Thank you very much. Very accurate representation in the cartoon there. Hi, my name's Cathy. My talk today is Senior to Leader. It's about taking that step in your career. But I hope that this talk will have something in it for everybody. It's not just for people who are senior. These are some of the things that helped me go from senior to leader, but I think they're things that you can use at any stage of your career. So my current role is I'm a principal engineer. I'm also the lead of a team called Strategic Projects, and we're a cross-disciplinary team that does projects that are all about taking neuroscience out into the world. And for me, this was a really big step in context from just working completely in the front-end specialization. So up until now, my career has all been front-end. I was a front-end developer. I was a front-end team lead. I was kind of in charge of front-end people. I ran the front-end guild, but I was always doing front-end. And taking this step into doing something outside of that has kind of required a lot more maybe self-reflection and learning than what I might have thought. So that's some of what I want to share with you today. So we're talking about the next step. But the next step could mean a lot of things. It could mean the next step in your technical career. It could mean stepping out into a people management role. It could mean just something completely different. Maybe you want to do something different in the organization. Maybe you're interested in product or DevOps or anything else. There's really a lot of ways that your career can go. And I think it's always good to see your career as, try and see it as something where you can always grow in different directions. You know, you don't have to keep doing the same thing you've already been doing. But maybe you just want to get better at your current role, and hopefully some of these tips and ideas will help you do that too. But one thing that I want to stress is that I think as front-end specialists, we really need to be able to leverage and communicate the value that is in our work so that we can communicate that to other people, and also so that we can see it for ourselves. So I kind of felt like there was a point where front-end started to feel like a little bit of a dead end for me. I'd been doing it for a really long time. I'd become fairly senior, but when I started to look at roles that were more senior than what I was in, you know, when I was leading the front-end team, well, where do I go from there? And I started to find that things that I never questioned about myself were starting to be questioned. You know, are you technical enough? You're just front-end. People didn't seem to understand what skills I had. They didn't see me as technical as what I was. And I felt like the career path outside of front-end was kind of unclear. I didn't feel like there was a really obvious path to go higher than where I was. And I really lacked senior mentors that had taken the same path that I had. And I actually really sought out people that I wanted to work for that did have a similar path to me. But they were really hard to find, and they were definitely not the norm in any of the organizations I worked in. So as my career progressed, front-end was starting to feel like a disadvantage. And the transition, particularly to managing cross-disciplinary teams, was quite difficult for me. Then this happened. So this situation happened to me. Nobody got fired, don't worry. For people that maybe are younger than me, this is from the movie Office Space. These characters are consultants that have come into the office to look for people that they can fire. And nobody was trying to fire me, but the organization that I worked for actually wanted to calibrate salaries and look at what different people were working on and make sure that people were being kind of correctly compensated for what they were doing. So they got some consultants in that were very much like these guys. Their names probably weren't Bob, but they came in and they talked to all the senior people in the different specializations. They went away and wrote a report about how we should be kind of leveled against each other. And it came back that front-end was leveled the lowest. So these consultants came back and said, out of all the things that you do in your engineering team, front-end is the least important. Upsetting for sure. But the thing was that these consultants had based what they thought about the importance of front-end on what I had told them. So once I got over my nerd rage, I had to start thinking about, well, I'm obviously not communicating the value of what I do in a way that people can understand who aren't in my little kind of bubble of the world. And that became even more important when I wanted to progress my career outside the front-end space, and especially, and I guess it's still part of my goal, but to get to kind of higher level roles and have more influence that's outside my specialization. But I think that having these skills about being able to communicate your value are really valuable to anyone at any level and any career stage. Once again. So I think as front-end specialists, it's really useful for us to understand what value we can demonstrate to people so that they can understand the things that we already know and that we already do. So we want to look at what skills do we already have that we can talk to people about to make them understand that, that we have a broader view. And how can we grow and leverage those skills to get what we want out of our careers? Because you may want to stay a front-end developer forever, and that's fine, but even if you want to do that, understanding these things will help you do better at that, and it will definitely help you do better to grow if you do want to grow into different roles or higher level roles. So I'm going to talk about 3 kind of areas that I think we can demonstrate that kind of value. The cool thing is, so I'm going to talk about technical expertise, product stewardship, and leadership and management. And I think these are 3 things that are really, really important. When I went to my boss and said, I want to do something outside front end, but I want to grow in, I want to be doing more impactful management roles. I want to run a cross-disciplinary team. These are the kinds of things that he wanted to know from me because he doesn't have a clear view of exactly what front-enders do, and maybe he's not sure that I'm technical enough. Maybe he's not sure if I have a good view of the product. And do I really have the leadership skills that are needed? The good news is that it turns out that front-end developers are actually already building these skills every day. We're already pretty good at a lot of this stuff. And the reason is that we work at the intersection of human and technical concerns. Okay, we do this every day. Every day, we think about the user, we think about the product, we take design considerations, we take technical considerations, and we're the ones that synthesize all that and make it into the thing that the user actually uses. So we're actually already building valuable skills in product communication and technical architecture, and maybe we just need to focus on what those are so that we can work on them more and be able to communicate them as well. So what are the kinds of technical expertise that people want to see? They want to see that you understand what engineering excellence is and see that you can grow that in your teams. They want to know that you understand different operating environments, contexts, and constraints. If you're going to take a broader view, even in a technical stream, you still really need to understand these things at a fairly high level. And you need to understand system-level architecture. And surprisingly, I've always found this is something that people assume I don't have. But actually, as a front-ender, this is something that I know quite a lot about because I feel like I need to know all these aspects in order to make my thing work well. And we're really good at this. We build reliable, scalable technology in a complex, volatile environment every day. Okay, the stuff we do every day is building these skills that people want to see when they're looking for people to be senior engineers, senior management, managing technical teams, and so on. We deal with different browsers, different devices, voice and text clients, unpredictable connectivity. Performance is a crucial concern for us. Front-enders are really fast adopters of code quality tools and processes that make everything work better. We actually fine-tune this stuff a lot. So we're already thinking about what engineering excellence means in our context, and that context is quite broad. And often in order to solve these problems, we need to have an awareness of the entire system. We need to communicate with other technical teams. And in fact, many of the talks today have addressed these kind of really specific technical architecture details. But if you go and talk to your CTO or, engineering directors, they may not necessarily understand that you have a deep understanding of this stuff, but you do, and it's worth being able to communicate that to people so that they know. So product stewardship. it's really important to be able to understand and execute on the big picture. That is something that as you become more senior in an organization becomes really critical, and it doesn't matter whether you are a technical architect, whether you're a manager, or even whether you've branched out into other areas. You need to be able to see the big picture and understand where the product is going. You need to be able to make sound product decisions. You might not think that you make product decisions, but you do. Every time you make a technical decision, that technical decision flows into the product. You're making product decisions every day. And it's really good to be able to communicate to people that, but to also make sure that you're viewing your work through that lens, so that when you make decisions, you're thinking about it in terms of the product and not just in terms of the technical details. And another really important part of product stewardship is being able to advocate and communicate. This is something I've really noticed as I've become more senior, and I'm involved in meetings with other senior people, is that we do this a lot, okay? We sit around as a group, and there might be me and some other technical experts, and maybe a product person, maybe a business development person, and we're all advocating for our point of view of what is best for the user, what is best for the client, what is going to, in our case, what is going to be the best usage of our science, which is a fairly specific use case, but I think it still translates pretty well. So these skills are really important. And the thing with front-end developers is that we are the custodians of user experience and customer value. Okay, we are the people that make sure that all those product decisions that have been made, all the user experience research that's been done, all the technical work that's been done, we're the ones that are in charge of making sure that that is what goes to the user, okay? You can have wonderful product decision making, you can have beautiful designs, you can have all of this stuff, but if the front-enders don't build it, it's not there. And so I think it's really worth understanding how powerful we are in that context and how much we are the stewards of what happens in the product, and to own that, to build that into your daily work, and also be able to communicate that to people when you're trying to tell them what it is you do. We advocate for users all the time. We advocate for accessibility, for user experience. We advocate for equality of access. A lot of these things that we fight really hard for every day are things that sometimes other people in the organization don't care that much about. So all that work you do, all those times that you sit with a product person and tell them all about why accessibility is important, those times where you take a design and work through it and work through it and work through it with the designer to make sure that it's usable. All those times that you worry about performance, when you worry about what happens when someone goes through the train tunnel and doesn't have any access, when you worry about someone in the outback using your app and you think about the connectivity issues they have, all that work you do is learning to advocate for your users and learning to get that advocacy into your product. And that's a noble cause, but it also is building skills in understanding our customers and advocating for improvement and delivering value. And it's crucial to a higher level of product thinking and stewardship, which is what people are going to look for when you start to want to be more senior. They're going to want to know that you understand these things. And the cool thing is that most of you do because you do that every day. And I think it's important to note that technical people need these strategic skills too. You will make better technical decisions if you're making good product decisions. And finally, leadership and management. So you need to be able to take responsibility for long-term outcomes. You need to lead, coach, and mentor effectively. And you need to affect and manage positive change. And I think these are things when I thought about what management would be like before I was a manager, the mentoring and coaching thing I kind of got. You mentor people, you figure out what they do. But I don't think I thought very much about taking responsibility for outcomes. And I don't think I thought a lot about managing positive change. And as a manager, I actually do that all the time, and it's one of the most important parts of my job, is being able to lead people through change in a way that makes them feel good, that makes them feel positive about what they're doing, and that leads to positive outcomes in the work that they do. It's really highly important, and if you can be good at that, you'll be seen as a good manager. But again, I think these are things that people look for when they're looking for people to promote or hire someone in a higher level role, and it's good to be able to explain to them what you know about it. And luckily for us, We're a really vibrant, supportive technical community. You know, you're all here today helping each other grow each other's skills, supporting each other, networking. Not all industries do this. Other industries don't do this at all. And even other parts of tech do this, but maybe not in as a supportive a way as I think what the front-end and JavaScript and React communities do. So we're really lucky, and you may find that if you think about it, just by participating in this community, you're already growing those skills. Because we really care about teaching and learning from each other. And as part of this community, you have a lot of opportunity. You've got opportunities to learn, come to conferences, go to meetups, learn new things. But there's also loads of opportunities to teach and mentor. There's places like Codebar. There's all sorts of things springing up around the place that allow you to not just go and see a talk, but to go and mentor someone and help them learn to code. I think when you're at the senior dev stage, being able to mentor someone is a super important skill. And you can go and practice that any time. You know, go and find a meetup that's teaching people to code and go and help out. You'll learn a lot about yourself. You'll learn a lot about technology. And you'll also start learning the skills that you need for leadership roles. We also learn to communicate by doing this stuff. Go and do a talk, get some feedback. All these things that we do are all helping to grow these skills. And if you can communicate that to someone and let them see the value, then that helps you to go to the places that you want to go. So I think there are also some new skills that we need to learn. Because admittedly, if you have been a specialist developer for a long time, there might be some things that you don't know that people will ask you if you do want to move into more senior roles. And we've got opportunities to do these too. So broadening your technical knowledge. I think as a front-end developer, it's really important, if you're not already, get to know the people at your work, in your community, that are doing technical things outside your specialization. Go and chat to them. Go and lob up to the ops people and say, hey, let's grab a coffee. Tell me about what you do. If you've got security people at your work, they're great people to go and have a chat with. You know, get to know people in other specialist areas and just grow your knowledge, even if it's just by talking to them, by going to some meetups that aren't in your particular stream. There's a lot of things you can do to broaden that knowledge, so when you do get to the point that you want to show someone that you can do stuff outside front end, you've got a good baseline to be able to talk about it. Participate in decision making. Sometimes this is one that it's easy to hang back and not do. It's easy to hang back and kind of go, oh, those decisions sucked, but it wasn't me, and they didn't invite me to the meeting, so. And that's fine, but it's not gonna push you forward. It's not gonna get you anywhere. And sometimes it's just a matter of saying to the person who is putting on the meeting or who is making the decision, can I be part of this decision making? Can I sit in on the meeting? Even if you're not going to be part of the decision making, at least try and get yourself in the room, see what kinds of discussions people have when they're talking about things that are a little bit greater than your kind of sphere of influence. That will help you when you come to try and have some influence. You know, you'll understand the direction that you need to go. Develop your technical vocabulary. This one is really, really important for me. Probably like many of you, I don't have a computer science degree. I'm completely self-taught programmer. I mean, I think I did like one class at TAFE or something and I dropped out of it. So even though I understood a lot of quite high-level technical concepts and I understood architecture, I didn't have the vocabulary to be able to speak about it intelligently with people who knew more than me. And I really got to a point in my career where it was obvious that that was holding me back because I started to sound a bit silly, you know. I would try and explain concepts, but I didn't know the right terms. I knew what was going on, but I didn't have that vocabulary. And if you're fortunate and you do have that, that's great and it will help you. But if you don't have it, it's something really easy to go and learn. There's plenty of online courses. Go and look up terms. I went through a whole phase where I would just Google terms that I heard people use. On my phone, like someone would say a term and I'd be like, I don't know what that means. You know, gradually, if you make a conscious effort to build your technical vocabulary, it would really, really help you when you come to try and have more influence to be able to speak well. So product stewardship, again, muscle your way into meetings, participate in the meetings, go to the product person and say, can I come to the next meeting? Even if you just sit around and listen to what they have to say, it'll give you a really different view on what it is you're doing and the things that you're building. And help you to start forming opinions. And I think when it comes to product, developing well-informed opinions is actually really important, and it's something that I've seen a lot. When people are having higher-level product decisions, people who have a well-informed opinion and can articulate that opinion often get what they want. And so I think it's something really good to practice. Practice it in the meetings that you have with your team. If you're on a project, put forward some opinions and see what people say. Try to kind of put yourself a little bit out there and just kind of form some ideas so that rather than kind of hanging back and just building the things that people ask you to do, have a voice in the product that you're making, and that will eventually build the skills to be able to do that at a higher level. And finally, leadership and management. And this can be one that, as much as we talk about, you can go and do talks and mentor people, getting actual management experience can be really tough. Because basically someone has to pick you to be a manager. Before you've been a manager, you haven't really managed people, and it's kind of a whole new ball game, and it's quite difficult to get experience doing it before you're doing it. So definitely mentor, coach, and teach as much as you can. Offer to do it at your work, offer to do it with outside organizations. Anything that you can manage that is around mentoring and coaching other people will help you learn yourself. Seek opportunities to manage and delegate. It's really hard, but anytime you can put your hand up for stuff like that, if you feel you're ready and you want to have a crack at it, go and tell someone. Go tell your CTO, I want to run a project. I want to lead the next project that comes up. Even go and say to them, is there a small project that I can run so I can get some experience doing the actual delegating and managing work that I will need to do if I want to move up into higher levels of management. There's just no way to learn it other than doing it, and I know it's really hard to ask for it, but I think there's just no other way to do it unless you're lucky and someone says, hey, you run the project. But if that doesn't happen for you, you're going to have to go and tell someone that you want to do it, push yourself forward and do it. And the last thing is persuasive speaking and writing skills. I can't say enough how valuable it is, and you really see it when you see someone else doing it better than you and kind of winning the argument when you lose, is that having these kind of persuasive speaking skills and being able to write well, being able to write about your achievements, being able to write a business case, being able to, in my case, I was chatting with some friends earlier about where I work, we have to do promotion cases, right? You don't just get promoted. I have to write a business case for my own promotion. And while that might seem really harsh, it's actually made me really good at business writing, and it's a skill that I have that I didn't have before. So don't shy away from opportunities to learn these skills. They may feel like they're a bit outside your everyday, but they're going to help you build your career and give you options to go places that you might not have thought of before. Because the higher up in an org you are, the more you need to understand how your work affects the whole domain. You got to understand things outside your domain. So I think all these skills help you do that. They help you see the big picture and help you have impact and value that's above just the code that you write. And that's what people are looking for when they're looking for higher level management. And for high level technical people, if you want to be an architect, whatever, that high level is what people are looking for. So thank you, and I hope this was useful.